Welcome everybody to episode 6. Oh my God, I'm starting the episode off by hitting Devin in his shoulder. We're gonna take you right out before we even get going here.
Violence.
Violence. What a panel we have today. Obviously some new faces, some new voices, some new perspectives. We got a lot to talk about today. We have a question from Instagram, one of our followers, and then our topic tonight is trauma. I told the fellas trauma before we got started, and some facial expressions happened. So we know that we're in for something. So just going to start off quick with intros. Kyle, let's start with you.
I'm Kahim Priest. I am the owner and co-owner of Ketchup Enterprise. We are an event coordinating company. I'm the CEO of a new company of mine called Who Am I Development. We are actually helping consult and develop people's thought processes and who they are. I want to help you get to exactly where I know you to be, because I believe we all have a great thing to do in this world. That's why we're here.
Yep.
So we're bringing out the passion, the love, the honor that people have. So if you're looking for some Who Am I? And hold on, I'm the host of
Keep
Conversations with a Priest.
Yeah, there we go.
That's it.
With a
Priest.
You know, I was waiting for you to say that because that's obviously, if you don't know, you do have a podcast, right? It is a podcast. Yeah, Conversations with a Priest. We'll put the link in the description. And now, unfortunately, we pass to you.
I'm just Devin. I'm just kidding. No, I'm Devin. Probably seen me here before. If not, nice to meet you. I am starting a golf channel on Instagram, so follow Divid Dev.
We'll put that in the description as well.
Got it.
Got it. Golfing season actually starts tomorrow for some of us.
It does.
March
8 a.m.
1st. Yep.
Sharp.
I'm going to pass to you. People know who I am. I post all the time.
You're a well-known fella. So what's up, guys? I'm Kyle. Back for episode 6.
6.
I will also be on Devin's golf channel if you're looking for some comedy or just a great overall time. We'll be doing that starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So real excited about it, and real happy to be here with you guys tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Real excited about it.
Yep.
Matt M.A. Anderson. Most of you guys know me. But, I'm a firefighter, paramedic. Lost my wife 2019. 3 kids. I'm here for all help.
Yeah. And
I like that.
honestly, I want to just start by saying thank you. That's to address that in the beginning part of our conversation. Makes me feel that you're open, you're ready to talk. And obviously that's a big thing to talk about, right? Very big thing. So let's get right into it. So the first conversation that we're going to have is actually brought from our Instagram and our social media. We put out a poll, what you guys want to talk about. And the first question was, how long does it take you to recognize your mental health deteriorating, and what are your next steps? So I'll actually start this off, and then Kyle, I'll go to you. I had this happen last night. I was so quick on my trigger for everything. Like every little thing started pissing me off, and I noticed it while I was at my work day. Like one email I got just totally took me over an edge, and it was just a basic email I would have never got. So I started to think about what was happening in my life, and I realized that I just had a course of bumps and bumps and bumps and bumps and bumps, to the point where I did the typical man thing, and I held it in for so long, but I felt myself triggering fast. I felt myself triggering at my kids. I felt myself triggering at my coworkers. I felt myself triggering at my wife. Like there was just so much for me. So what I had to do last night is I had to disconnect. I had to get off of the computer. I had to get off of social media. I had to put my phone down, and I had to find out like who I wanted to be. I was around my loved ones. I was with my kids, and I thought that I knew my mental health was going downhill. So I decided to take a step back and not talk to anybody about it, but just focus on myself. And I think sometimes, I think sometimes the stigma is go ask for help, go talk to somebody. And last night I wasn't feeling that. I just wanted to be alone, and not necessarily alone because I was with my family and stuff, but like away from the things of the outside world that can cause us
Secluded a little bit.
Yeah, quietness. Yeah. Because if you think about, everybody's on their phones all the time, social media, and I just wanted to be in my home, So my mental health took a downspin last night. I did correct it today. I had a great night's sleep, woke up feeling good. But that does happen to me a lot, and I kind of spiraled down. So Kyle, I want to pass it to you and talk about, how do you recognize your triggers? I mean, you're the head of different companies.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. So how do you realize when your mental health?
Can you actually read that to me again? Because I want
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long does it take you to recognize that your mental health is deteriorating? And what's your next steps from there?
So, and I like what you did, right? You went on more of a short-term thought process in it, like day to day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what makes that question so dope is it could have many ranges. Like I'll speak on like life, like as a man, like at first, when you're growing up, you're trying to divvy through life and you don't understand mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you're doing these things that you think are coping, playing sports, doing this as a guy, we're just out here just enjoying life with our friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's that moment where you're like screaming out for help. And for me, it took me to continue to grow to even learn how to deal with it first off. And I won't even say learn how to deal with it, but learn how to admit that like I'm actually really,
yes.
It's not even getting help. It's like admitting that,
Yes.
wait, dang, I need help. You know what I'm saying? And it took me to be, I'm a 30-year-old man to realize that like, dang, like I need help. I can't, before I get to 40 and flip, everybody's
Right.
like, God just went.
Like,
We've seen it. We've seen it. How many people have we seen it in that?
Yeah.
That so when I look at it, like the question is like, I look at it like it. There may not. We never know how much time it's going to take, but it's in you. Like, when are you willing to say, "Hey, I need help"? It doesn't matter if you're 15, if you're 10, if you're 20, 30. It took me to be 30 to get a therapist and speak out and really trust someone with the vulnerability in me, And so I'll say to that question, what I do is I actually admit it first.
Yeah.
I admit it to myself, like, dang,
That's hard.
constantly,
Yeah.
like every,
Big step.
because let's be real, it happens. I'm damn near admitting every 3 days. Hey, it's the third day. I'm admitting it again.
I did it again.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So for me, it's that moment of admitting that it's like it's real. It's real, and so that's how I answer the question. I hope that helps
listen.
you guys.
To the point.
I thought
to
that
the
your point about admitting it is
Mhm.
probably one of the best points that we've ever talked about, is because as a man, how hard is it to admit it?
Mhm.
Right? It's hard to admit it
Yeah.
sometimes, unless you feel comfortable, like you just said. Because now, as I just said, I can admit it. I can admit when I need a break, right?
Yep.
And for teenagers in young 20s and 30s, like, think about as a man going up, especially if you didn't have a father figure or a mother figure or anything like that. Like, how can you admit that you need help when you were doing everything by yourself for so long? Right? That's, for me, that was the hardest part of my journey.
Listen.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
100%.
Especially you're a father of 3.
Mhm.
Nobody else. I
Yeah.
mean, I have my girlfriend. She's awesome.
Yeah.
But, the kids are like, who do I listen to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's tough.
It's got to be tough, right?
Yeah.
Because you have your support system and your girlfriend, but those are your kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, those are your children, right? And what's the right way? Because you don't have their mother. Rest in peace. And honestly, a couple people mentioned, like, they were excited to hear from you to talk about Lydia. And honestly, you're in a tough situation, man.
It's tough, but it's not, because all you have to do is, like I tell Lex, this is how they should be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's it, right? Yeah. Yeah. And
she throws her things in.
Yeah.
And we bind.
have to, right? You have to have some form of partnership, whether it's a friend, a significant other, so on and so forth,
100%.
to get through this life, right?
Right.
Like, because it's, as Kyle said, admitting is probably the hardest thing out of it.
Yeah.
And Kyle, before I move
That's
on to
so
Devin,
tough.
you did mention something about a therapist. Have you ever been into therapy?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave their head like, hey, it's Kyle calling again. I called my therapist. I don't know about y'all.
That's
So my
good.
therapist called me. Hey, Lydia. And then, like, I'm just talking I'm just sitting here like, yo, hey, like I want to have the conversations. I really want to explore the thought process of being vulnerable enough to make the call. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I have done therapy heavily, and I I honestly attest to therapy. Like I'm not the man I am today. Like I believe me, if I didn't take that
100%.
jump,
I grew up
I'd probably be somewhere with a bottle and just saying, "Hey, woe is me." You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I attest to certain things like that, honestly, and that's where my development came from, because it was just like it was that moment where I said, "These are the things that helped me become who I am." You know,
Yeah.
we're in the near future. I don't want to give too much, but we will be working with therapists, financial advisors, managers, life coaches, and everything to provide people with those things that
That's awesome.
are able to take hats off of us. We wear so many hats as business owners, as fathers, as workers, whatever you do, we wear so many hats. And it's like, there's someone equipped in that field that can take that hat off you. And I realized that's what helped me. And that's where my development came from, was allowing a therapist to help me, allowing a financial advisor, a manager, a life coach to, pour into me, even though it cost me. It cost me. Goddamn.
I feel like it's worth it.
It was worth it, because it's those moments where you're like looking for things, people and things to pour into you, and it's like it's not happening how you want it, but it's like sometimes you gotta pay for that pouring. Like I'm gonna be honest, and I'll tell y'all that. Listen, if your cup ain't full, pay for it to get full. Right? You know what I'm saying?
No, you are 100% right. And the greatest thing I think about this moment right here is that we can also influence the youth, right? Like we're talking about younger ages. You just said you grew up with him. Like think about if we knew what we know now as a kid. Like I would have stopped so many situations that have affected me mentally in the past by just talking to somebody, right? Or finding my inner peace, or doing
100%.
something as you guys mentioned, right? Things could have changed drastically. So my goal with this school, bro, is to have these platforms so you and anybody out there can have a voice about this is what we need to do for us, for our children, for our next generations, to be able to still be men. I want to reiterate, you can cry and still be a man. And I've said that multiple times. You can cry
100%.
and still be a man, and it's okay. It's totally okay.
Yep.
Devin, I want to move to you. How long does it take you to recognize your mental health kind of failing?
Well,
and what do you do?
like Kyle said, I didn't realize I needed help until my 30s. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I'm just real. I mean, this show now, like being here is what is opening me up to be able to talk. I would like to go see a therapist maybe again. I did when I was younger, haven't since, but I have been thinking about it lately.
And we did talk about that in episode 1, because you said that you had a bad experience with your therapist.
She put me on 2 different type of prescription drugs, an upper, a downer, and I slept in school every day. So that turned me off from therapy. So ever since then, I don't want to go there and then be like, oh, I'm just going to put you on something.
You just want to talk.
Yeah, I just want to talk. I don't want to be put on anything. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
So I did therapy, which I've mentioned in previous episodes, and I think it's about who you go to, because my therapist initially was like, no meds. Like, I don't do meds. I want to talk. After I talked, he was like, you might need a little something.
You can benefit from the full
dose of salt.
So, and now I am on something daily, right? So, like, I went in kind of the same thing. I was like, no meds. I really don't want to feel like a zombie. But talking to somebody you don't know, I still think is the best. Being able to talk to that man and talk about my relationship with my parents, with Demi, with my kid, like talking about that,
everything.
you can talk about everything without feeling judged.
My only thing is, they have to go through it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk to somebody that hasn't been through it.
Okay. And
You know what I'm saying?
define
Like-
that a little bit more.
So death, wife death.
If you have an
Like I
experience,
don't want to talk to somebody that never had somebody die in their family
Okay.
and go through it.
Yep.
how do they know?
They don't know.
Exactly.
You know,
Okay.
that's how my father-in-law told me.
Yeah.
He's like, "What do they know?
Yeah.
Oh, they just went to school.
Yeah.
They don't know what you're going through."
Yeah. I mean, it could be about perspective in that situation, right?
100%.
Like, obviously, somebody's not going to know your exact pain. Nobody's going to know that,
Right.
no matter what. Even
Right.
if I lost what you lost, I'll never know what you felt during your time, because
Right.
your situation is different. I can see what you're saying in that capacity. I will like to debate you in that because
Mhm.
I was a fan of that. I like that they didn't know. I like that they didn't know everything because then I can freely speak my emotions.
Mm.
Right? So like, I'll
No,
gladly
no,
go
no,
back and
good.
forth.
No,
Yeah.
you're good.
No, I was able to freely speak my emotion without having them be like, oh yeah, I went through that and this is what happened to me. So I didn't want that. I don't want your perspective. But I want to hear your point on that too.
So my daughter's therapist lost her mom when she was maybe she was 16.
okay.
So she knows how to relate
Yes.
with
Mm.
Maya.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where
That makes-
if
that
you
makes
talk
sense.
to somebody else,
Yeah.
like I talk to you, hey, I lost my wife.
Sure.
Can you help me through this?
Mm.
They don't know.
Okay.
You know?
Now you put it in
That-
a perspective.
yeah,
where
That
I
does
was-
make sense. That makes a
All
lot of
you
sense.
really
Different.
can do is go off the thought of it
Correct.
They're
instead
right.
of
They're
Yeah.
understanding.
They don't
the feeling of it,
understand
and sometimes the feeling
what you go through.
because even
Right.
I was just hearing what you were saying. It's like even through, and I want to say through therapy as well. You are able to vet them. Hey, who are you?
Yeah.
Matter of
Yeah.
fact,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
what did you do in
Yeah.
1996?
What happened there?
Talk to me about it.
So I was like,
Right.
107 when
Right.
you didn't give a dang about this therapy license.
Right.
I want to know what you
Even-
went through. You know what I'm saying?
Like death of friends.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
A bunch of my friends passed away. It's like, who do you talk to?
yeah,
Yeah.
You talk to a marriage counseling
Mhm.
counselor?
Mhm.
No,
yeah.
it's different.
But if you think, nobody knows what you go through,
Uh-huh.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what you
No.
go through.
Because you know me, I'm quiet.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm quiet.
Everybody's so different mentally that nobody knows. Like my death of a friend could be different from your death of a friend to your
Yeah.
death of a friend
Yeah,
to your death of a friend. Like I think of the people that I've lost in the past, my
Right.
relationships with them, right? But that would be totally different, even if you knew the same person that I knew that passed away. Totally different
I
relationship.
mean, we've had that happen. I won't, not to mention names. I mean, there's been so many, but it's like you might have to cry, and I might have to be stone cold and not have.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to express what I'm feeling.
But then, how do we both go to the same therapist and he knows exactly what to talk about?
Right.
Dang.
So I see your
Right,
point,
yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
see your
Right.
point.
I actually, you just see, and that's the beauty of conversation, right?
Mhm.
Because even though I felt how I felt about what he said, once you just said that, I also
It's
felt
true.
something out of it.
Exactly.
Because I remember, people will reach out
It's
when my
ourself.
mom passed away,
Mhm.
right? And they're like, I know how you feel. And then I'm like,
You
in
don't.
my mind, I'm
You
like,
don't.
you just called your mom a bitch last week. I get that it may be, it's like almost that relation of, oh no, I've been through that, and
It's
you
not the same.
But it's like, oh no, my mom was my best friend. I don't. We didn't not talk for 15 years. So
Yeah.
I do. So what you said, like I heard what you said, and I heard what you said, and I'm like, oh wait, okay, because I felt that, like, yo,
Both same
I
way,
want
yeah.
someone that may know how it feels. Like you didn't lose a parent.
Correct.
We can't talk. But then
not that
again,
topic, yeah.
at the same
It's not
time,
yeah.
I don't want someone to relate, and then down the road you're like, yeah, I hated my mom for about 6 years.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hate my mom for 6 years, so
Yeah.
I'm upset now. I've been paying you this whole time. And you hated your mom. Give my money back. Give my money back.
You know what the beauty of it is? All answers are right. Like all answers
Yeah.
are your answer's right, your answer's right,
Sure.
my answer's yours. It's all right, and this is the platform that we've created where you can still be right. Like no matter what, you can still feel how you feel, and no matter what. Honestly, if a boulder came through my house right now, we're all gonna feel different about what to do, right? So we can't have a man standing right there.
I mean, I'll tell you
Counsel-
when upstairs. Make sure the kids are good. You know what I'm saying?
Different situation.
We'll talk about it, man. Make sure you guys are good. I'm going upstairs.
You're getting people out.
I play kids. Yeah.
Let's talk about how we can give you up the law.
Yeah.
Maybe a boulder wasn't a good.
That's all right. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We're all gonna be good.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I'll put you
Kyle,
guys in the corner. Get the kids.
Kyle, I want to turn to you. How long does it take you to recognize your mental health, and what kind of when you recognize it deteriorating? Excuse me, and what do you do in those?
I want to
situations?
speak into present, right? Because like just this past couple of weeks, like I think we talked about it. Like work has been difficult.
Yeah.
Not feeling like as a father and as a fiance providing the way I want or I know I can.
Sure.
So we talked a little bit about it. Was going through job interviews and still dealing with things in my current job and that kind of stuff. And I had somebody come into me, and he's known me for the 2 years I worked there, and he's like, anything you want to talk about? And I'm like, nah, he's in his mid-50s, like he's older
He
than I,
felt
right?
it.
But he looked at me, he goes, something's bothering you. He's
He
like, you're
felt
not who you usually are.
Mm.
And he reached over and he closed the door and he's like, I know you're going through a lot. He's like, you ain't got to tell me nothing. He's like, but we love you here. And I was like, damn, I've been that bad at work for this dude who doesn't, I don't talk right. And he comes in every day talking about sports and this and that. And I'm just like, right. And I just, and it took somebody to point it out to me that like, you are withdrawn from a lot of stuff. So I went home and we had that conversation. Like I was on the phone with my dad the other night. I get off and Brittany looks at me and she's like, I go, did I have to talk to him like that? And she goes, no, you did not. And I was like, wow. So we had to apologize to each other and go back. Like I was short with everybody. I want to say bland.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like my personality
Absolutely.
can be a lot sometimes for certain people. And I was just very like, felt like dry, bland, like there's nothing to it. Like I just did the motion.
What did you feel like would take you out of that situation? Or did you even have a thought? Were you just
I don't
living in
know.
your-
I don't know. Like, I mean, I know we shared some songs and stuff, and music is a therapy for me.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we can talk music forever, and it's like there's some days like I pull up listening to some music that I don't belong listening to, right?
Yeah.
And other days you pull up listening to some opera and country. I don't know.
Me
It depends
too.
on, you know
Me
what I
too.
mean. You ride those highs, but like sometimes it takes. I utilize that car ride, that music to get emotion out of me, so I can when I get home talk about
Because
my
the
day.
lyrics hit. The lyrics hit different.
Oh,
Certain
for
lyrics hit
sure.
different than
For
Yeah,
sure.
you pick up something.
Yeah.
You know,
Something
you pick
that-
up something and be like, oh, let me play that back.
Not bad.
Play that back.
Play that,
Right
but
back.
so you know what it does for me, and I thought about it because I sent it to you last week. Remember we chit-chatted about the lyric of that one song? It helped me realize what my problem was,
Right.
what I was feeling. I was feeling trapped, and I wasn't making a choice for myself, right?
Yeah.
And I could not go be a dad or a fiance and provide the way I wanted to until I made this choice.
Yeah.
So there's a new job coming. I'm excited about a new opportunity, and hopefully, right?
Congratulations.
I appreciate
Yes.
y'all. Hopefully that's
100%.
hopefully it's what I need.
Yeah.
Hopefully, and I'm not
100%.
saying it is.
It's not.
Hopefully, it
The
is.
grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
You
Gotta
know?
water it.
And I think
You got to
I think
make it the way you want it.
for sure. And I
Amen.
think that was
Amen.
a step for me. That was pushing a boulder out of my way, allowing me to go. Right? Because you said earlier, I want to go another boulder joke.
Another
Oh,
boulder
yeah.
talk.
We're hot. We're
Yeah.
hot right now. But so I think that's when I know
Yeah.
is when I feel very like I'm gonna say lethargic. I'm gonna say like ugh, like I got nothing.
Just drained.
And that's,
Yeah.
how, that's how I
Yeah.
felt yesterday. It's just like
Yeah.
I don't want anything
Just
in my
drained.
way. Yeah. Just like let me just do my own thing for a
Right.
second, right?
Right.
Matt, anything to touch more on that? I know you've already stepped in before, but anything more?
Jeez.
Like what honestly, being a firefighter, a paramedic, like your mental health has to deteriorate around you probably a little faster than maybe your multiple businesses. It has to deteriorate faster. Right?
It's hard. It's hard. Like I swallow a lot of things. You know what I mean? My girl, she makes me talk about it, but
Why do you
it's hard.
swallow? Why do you swallow your thoughts?
Yeah.
I was gonna say because you know I was about to say it.
You know we got a whole football chat. No, relax. It's cool, bro. All right.
It is cool.
Because a lot of people don't know what I go through. Like when I work 24 hours, I don't sleep. Like you're getting calls nonstop.
Yeah.
Even if you don't, if we have a quiet night, I'm tossing and turning.
Well, you're still not in your own home. Like you're still working.
My
right?
kids are at their grandparents.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's at the house with the dog. I'm like, there's a lot of things going on.
You're never fully shut off.
So
I don't like.
That's a good.
how do you shut off?
How
though?
I was missing the question.
So how do you shut off to protect yourself? Because what you do is obviously very high intensity
So-
all the time.
all the time?
Now it's spring,
Mhm.
so I'm back in the gym. Usually the winter I take off. I just relax. And I fought with my kid for almost hour and a half. Just wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
I thought you
wrestling.
punched him in the face.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, he punches me. I teach him how to punch, everything, how to wrestle, everything. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like my oldest daughter, she's 14. She came over. We were watching lacrosse. I was like, oh shit, I gotta leave.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like on TV it's
So those moments, and it sounds like, please correct me if I'm wrong, those moments calm you. Those small
100%.
moments calm you. In the grand scheme of your life, you look for those small moments to bring
dude,
yourself.
cutting my grass.
Yeah.
Like I pump my pool cover off.
Yeah.
Like just things to. It's relaxing. Like the kids, go ahead, watch TV.
Yeah.
Picking up leaves, pumping the water.
It sounds to me that acts of service are your main calming.
100%. I
Situation.
can't
Yep.
sit still.
Yeah.
I can't.
Mm.
And my girl tells me every single day.
Yeah.
Sit down, watch TV. Jazz told me, sit down, watch TV. I
What,
can't.
what does that do to you? Because you know internally, like I can't sit down. And when people are constantly chirping in your ear, like please sit down, what does that do for you?
I tell them okay, and I go outside.
And then go do your thing
Yeah,
that
and then
relaxes
you go do
you.
your thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, which is valid, right? We all have our things that we need to get done. Golf is a big one for you. My kids
Golf.
are a big one
Yep.
for me. Yeah, golf.
Yeah.
Like there's different situations where we need to just slow down, right? Our minds, our bodies, a little bit of everything there. I want to take it into the topic of our podcast here, which is trauma. A tough topic to talk about because if you guys are anything like me, when I said the word trauma, I had flashbacks in my head of situations that I don't want to ever revisit, right?
Is it personal?
You can do I want to talk about any trauma, right? Because we're going to talk about tears off of that, how you handle it, so on and so forth. I will gladly start. Just like I would say most people, I have father issues. Situations that we never got along. We didn't have anything in common. He was there but not there.
Same.
And I have flashbacks in my head, and I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't know what's appropriate and what's not, of situations where as a younger kid I should have never been a part of. I should have never seen. I should have never been in that area at all to deal with that.
Same.
So for me, we're going to touch on what that's done to me, but and in everybody. But my biggest trauma is probably relationships with my father and how that's affected me today. And then Matt, I'm going to go around the table the other way. I'm going to start with you.
Same. I see a lot at work. That's different.
Yeah.
Same with my father.
Yeah.
Like he was there, he worked, but wasn't there. You know.
And honestly, and I hate to interrupt you, bro.
Yep.
I can see it in your face right now. Like I can see it, and I think that's a very powerful moment for us, the show. And I apologize to the folks listening on Spotify, but I can see it in Matt's face that this is something that has truly affected him, and I want to thank you for being able to talk about it.
And now I'm the father of, my older brother, my sisters. They contact me but my father, I think I was the only one that. Back in the day, I think I'm the only one that contacted my father, which my father and mother are still together.
Yeah.
And he comes over, helps me. I'm like, to my brother, I'm like, hey, hit up dad. He'll help you paint. He's like, nah, I'm all right. My sisters, oh yeah, I'll have them watch their kids. I'm like, oh, that's not the same. Hands on, but.
So you've saw your trauma, and is now you're seeing it in your siblings too. Like they have some situations too where
100%.
it's like a group, it's like a family type of trauma situation.
100%.
Interesting. Kyle, to you. I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, I'll touch on it to the best of my ability.
Yep.
You and I, like I said, you and I have talked about a lot, and I think you touched earlier, Dev, was like this podcast allows you to talk about it. And people are going to see this like
you know what?
He's never talked about it.
You know what? And I hate to interrupt you again, but I never talked about my dad. I never talked about my dad. Now there's going to be thousands of people that see this conversation, right? And you know what I said to myself? Because I thought about that. I'm like, do I really want to air my dirty laundry after that? I'm okay.
You have to.
I'm okay because I'm a grown man now, right? I'm a grown man. Whatever decisions happen, whatever decisions happen there, they happen. If he wants to listen, he can listen. He's gonna have to deal. Right? Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So I apologize to interrupt.
You're good. And the reason I want to be here is so maybe there's somebody else that hears it and can receive the help or the confidence to just talk.
Absolutely.
Right. So you've given us a safe space. So shout out you for that.
Yep.
But I've had issues with my mother. And there was a time we haven't spoken in. I can't even tell you at this point. Probably as older than my daughter is. It divides us as a family because my brother has kind of accepted her back. My sister is trying to accept her back, or however they're working their thing out.
Yeah.
And I think my mom only knows that I still exist because my brother probably will, or my sister
Well,
might say, "Oh, we're with Kyle today."
Yeah.
Right. And I don't ask them to hide nothing. It is what it is. Like anybody who doesn't want to be part of my life, that is what it is. Without talking about the specific topic, but there was a huge disagreement. There was some stuff where I felt like that's supposed to be your dog. That's supposed to be your rider. That's your parent, your mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't get what I needed at that time when I was only trying to protect the people around us.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I got the exact opposite thing that I was taught from this individual as a kid, and it was taken out on me. And I was like, I'm gonna just be real honest with you. At that point in my life, I was so mentally unwell that and there's a lot of stuff, but I think at that time I was struggling in my own relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't have my mother to go to. My dad lived in a different state, and I'm not mad at him for that, but he was in California.
Did he leave to get away from what he was going through?
No, they had been separated since I was a kid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And he lived out. He moved away with his wife. They lived out there,
Yep.
but he just wasn't where.
You
He wasn't here. I couldn't tell him if I needed him.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Quick, Dad, I'm coming over.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when my mom and the relationship we had, we were so close, and then something happened where I made a decision. She didn't like that, and I was so tired of reaching out and being the person that was like, okay, can we stop this now? I know we're mad at each other. Because I haven't reached out, I feel like, and I've been a little stubborn about it, I feel like that's why. So my trauma is bad relationships for the last 4 or 5 years. And I could name 10 of them. I have fixed or working on fixing a lot of them.
Same with me.
But
I'm working on fixing one
yeah,
right now.
but it's traumatic to go through it because like I'm not proud of who I was during that time.
Yeah.
And I think it affected a lot of things, friendships, relationships, just who I was at that time was just I'm not proud of. So like that was like a 3 to 5 year span. It might even be like 6 or 7 at that point that I'm not proud of, and that's my trauma. That is not knowing how to fix them relationships. And at this point I'm in so deep, it's like, how do you get out?
Well,
So-
I think
Friends.
I think you did. I think you did exactly what Kyle mentioned earlier. The first step was admitting it, right? Like you just told us that you're struggling, man. Like, and that's all right. Like, just
I'm here.
it's cool, bro.
It is cool,
it
bro.
is cool.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. That was probably, if my fiance sees this, I don't know if she's gonna watch it or not. I'm pretty sure she knows that, and if she doesn't, my bad. But I think that might be from the absolute most depths of my inner keeping that I haven't spoke about.
And plus, you probably think about it, and then with your fiance, you're probably like lashing out on her because you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's times that her. I think
Same
her and I
with
relate.
me. Same with me. Listen, same with me.
Her and I relate because she went through something similar,
Right.
and I envy her because of who she is. She was able to attack it shortly after, and I say shortly because it
We're
happened
guys.
6 or 7. You know, I hit it.
This conversation has already come full circle, and we're not even halfway.
I know, and I just spoke a
We
lot,
just
so I
talked
want to hear
about
from you
admitting
guys
it,
too. But
and he also mentioned that she went through something similar, right? So he can relate to her, but also they're two different people with two different mindsets. So how do those fully relate, right? So it's interesting how we've already come full circle here.
Sure.
Devin, I want to go to you.
So I think trauma as a kid started definitely. I had the same thing. My dad wasn't around. And then pretty much my whole, like, I would say until I was in like 5th or 6th grade. And that's when I started going around to him. And when I did start seeing him, he kind of just let me do whatever I wanted to do and run the streets. And he did, I think, trying to please us to make up for the time that he wasn't there.
Wow.
So
So
100%.
yeah. We kind of just did whatever, and so
friend rather than parent.
yes,
exactly.
exactly.
Yep. And that's similar to a lot of cases because I've felt the same. It's like I don't want to. They don't want to give me rules because I lived so long without rules. Like now you're just going to say,
like
I'm going to
let me be the fun dad and let
Correct.
him do whatever he wants to do. And
so
I guess that's where my trauma started.
Yeah.
But I would say my biggest trauma was probably in my past relationship of 5 years. I had a kid, and then I found out the kid wasn't mine. It's like 6 months into raising the kid. So I would say that's my biggest trauma.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I think it. I think it affected how I deal with relationships now.
That's a huge. I'm thinking the first.
My trust is
Trust.
very very. I don't have a lot.
I took a big deep breath when you said that because that's a big one.
Yeah,
that is a big one. And thank you for even talking about that. And
I lose my mind.
And if
I would.
The folks that are going to be watching versus listening, you can see the reactions of some of these guys' faces, and it's not. It's just like, wow, like that's what another man's gone through. Like, you know, it's.
You gotta think, like, I mean, the attachment to the child that you have.
Oh my gosh,
that's the main thing.
That's the main thing,
really.
So it's
the girl is.
Yeah. So
it's a child.
Yeah,
It's really a child.
Wow,
and it's
Really a child.
Which I distanced myself for a while.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was a while ago.
Okay,
I was
good.
Yeah, I was single for 5 years.
You're jumping in my truck.
No, yeah,
we'll hang out.
No.
Did
That was a long
you've
time
also
ago.
mentioned you do not want children in the future?
I do not. That
Is that does that have to do with some of that?
Yes, that has to do with all of that.
You can take Leo anytime you want.
Yeah,
I
take
don't-
mine too.
You know what, though, Dad? Being the cool uncle, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that. We got
100%.
3 kids upstairs right now would love to be babysat.
Exactly.
So we can go to dinner next week.
Exactly. I met a woman that is on the same page as me. So
Yeah.
Good.
my fiance.
Who is wonderful.
Yeah.
Shout out her.
That's why.
Awesome.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
If I could extend, I don't mean
Yeah.
to interrupt. If I could extend, because as a God-fearing man, I can't allow that to be your story, brother. I can't allow it because deep down, she might be riding and you might be riding that wave, but it's really not for y'all. But because of you guys, what you went through is for you guys. So it may not feel like it's for you right now, but just keep it on the table that there's a possibility for
I
it.
see what you're saying.
You feel what I'm saying? Don't let it that
100%.
we deserve
100%.
a baby you to be out here
Right.
on the football field. Like, and
Right.
just because that happened, you can't. That happened to you.
Yeah.
That didn't happen to you. That happened for you, right? Because it gave, and I'm gonna speak on why things happen for you and to you.
Yeah.
But that happened for you to get a better relationship with how you feel about things or how you can go about things, and it also helped you really see a woman for her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It helped you actually see the woman you about to
That's
put
good.
you about to put a wife in and go down the aisle with. So I wouldn't take it off the table because now you're in a different you're in a different light, and one day you might stunt your own growth because you said not because you felt like you were trying to stick to something.
Yeah.
You're trying to stick to that word that you don't want kids.
'Cause-
And I'm gonna tell you now,
it's
it
burnt.
might be for you one day.
because it's
And
her.
I want to see a young
One
dad.
day.
You know what I'm saying
One day.
And I'm not
Yep.
saying when it has to be. I'm not saying today.
Do it
let go.
tomorrow, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
hey, one day you might sit down and look at her. Might be like, man,
We got practice at 5 o'clock. I'm gonna see you in a few minutes.
That's okay because to be honest, she's not.
It's a
her,
blessing.
and You're not him.
It's a blessing.
You're not
That's-
him. So I just
that's
had to
true.
throw that out there. That
Yeah.
I
That's
get
good.
it. I
That's
get
good.
that. I get that. It feels like right now, hell no.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But you never know that this is what's so beautiful about life is because you never know the possibilities of when things can change. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
And you, I just had to. I had to
Yeah.
give that to you, bro, because
No, that's good.
it's like,
That was real.
nah,
That was real.
It is cool being uncle, but
Yeah.
love being
Your
uncle.
own-
That's it.
All our
But
friends
you-
have
For a little bit.
Yeah,
For a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
days.
But
couple
if you
days.
want to be the uncle, that's cool too.
Yeah,
I
send
ain't
it back.
mad.
There it is.
Listen, you get to
You
send
get
it
them
back
sugared
and all
up,
that.
send
like,
it back.
Literally, but
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
I hope I'm
No,
not
you're
looking to
good.
step on
No,
your
you're
toes
good.
on it or anything. But
All
they
your
just,
point of
I
view,
felt it
bro.
in my heart. Like
Yeah.
like it's one thing I know for certain is I'm a vessel. God allowed me to be a vessel sometimes, and it's like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm gonna stand my ground because I felt that. I said, dang, I could only feel it from what I would think it would feel like
Yeah.
because I don't know, but it was like,
Yeah,
damn,
go through it.
because I know
Yeah.
my relationship with my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I thought of it in a different. I think we all
Yeah.
I
looked
did
at
too,
it in
yeah.
the perspective of having kids. It's like, nah, we've never been through that, but I've done kissed that kid 30,000 fucking times.
Yes.
In
Right.
9 years, and I'd be goddamn if someone sits here and says that
Yep.
one's not like, oh Lord,
Right.
just
Yeah.
what did Bobby Smurder do? He just threw a hat in there. God dang it, you know what I'm saying? Like, Lord. You done fucked me up. Oh. So yeah, man, I had to give that to you.
No, that's good.
And I love the
That's
different
true.
perspectives, right? Because again, either one's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Either one is okay,
100%.
and that's the greatness about this.
100%.
And Kai, I didn't want to forget about you.
Uh-huh.
So let's talk about one of your biggest traumas and
I could also say father issues. You know, being that kid who was yearning for their dad. You know what I'm saying? Saying that like you know, I want my dad. While everybody else is like, no, you know, fuck him. And I'm like, I want my dad. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I was hearing from you guys is, you know, your dad trying to be the cool, like oh, I let them do.
Yep.
My dad ain't that. He was still trying to be my father. Right?
Beat my ass, right.
It was like, no, don't do that. I'm like, nigga, you ain't even your father. To be telling me this, he never stopped. Like, he never said, you know what? I ain't been here in about a year or 5. He just came back 5. Boy,
Take your shoes off and then come down.
ride your bike up to your grandmother's and do a long fuck beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad, you know, honestly, my dad was utilized as a regulator. Like, and I don't blame my mom, but I understood that she knew, like that was one thing she realized, like that I don't have that huff that's gonna make them feel like they're doing something
100%.
wrong. Like
That's a good one.
so every time I see my dad, I had a stack like these shirts of pink slips. Like, so he had a in his head, in this head, he had a belt in this head, and it was like, you know, yeah, we gotta ask for it, guys. We're from that era. We're from that era.
Same.
You know what I'm
Some
saying?
from that era.
Yeah, you know, so it was that trauma of saying, so that trauma of, you know, not having a dad, but like him being around, you know, being that dad to me, it was like it became hard for me to trust men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
a lot of times when I would do business and stuff, I was like, I could do business with women, and one day someone sat me down and said, did you ever think that like your father is the reason why you don't, you know, trust men in business and friendship? Like, it's like if one of my friends disappeared, hey, I knew you would leave, but God forbid a girl does. Oh my God, you know, you left. You know why I was hurt because you left me is because my mom never left me.
Yeah.
So I had that trust that you wouldn't do, you know, because my mom did me in this way. It made me think you would never do me that way. But for a father, I'm like, oh, I know you'll skedaddle, friend, because you get that. So that trauma just it was hectic in my high school days, my middle school, all my school days, because I thought I was making him pay for my failures.
yeah.
But guess what? You know what you realize? That he is still over there doing exactly what he wants, and it doesn't affect it. And I want the kids to hear it doesn't. You trying to make someone else pay for something you've been through, they don't pay for it.
Never works.
It doesn't because I'm failing
only
in
affects
school.
you.
Because I'm failing in school and doing all this. He's not biting the
I
bullet.
don't care.
I'm biting the bullet. I'm a failure in school.
That's
I'm
powerful.
not graduating.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had to get past that thought process of really trying to make him pay with my mistakes. It's like, nah, my mistakes are piling up.
Yeah.
They're hurting you.
And they're hurting me in life. They didn't hurt this guy. This guy's still over here driving past me in a Cadillac. It's like, you understand? Like, he's still living life.
100%.
And, you know, one day, you know, and I'll go through the breakthrough of it. It was when I lost my mom. September 27th, 2018, and it changed my life. And that's where I came to the terms: things don't happen to you, they happen for you, right? Because if I would have went on the journey of it happening for me when my mom died, I wouldn't even be here to talk to y'all.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a guy you
Powerful.
see with a lot of those bottles. You know,
Listen, you changed 100%.
Yeah,
I'll
literally
tell you
being
that
a renegade in these streets, because I'm sitting here saying, this happened to me, and I'm angry, I'm mad. I was so mad at God. I lost my faith. I lost so much of me right there.
Yeah.
And then I started living for things happening for me. Why did that happen for me? You know, I lost a parent, but guess what? I still got a parent. I still got a dad.
Yeah.
My dad's somewhere around here. But one thing I realized, and I hope you guys could take this in too, is like, we're young enough to change it. They're old enough to be complacent in it.
Yeah.
Right? I can't,
they're
at
stuck.
60-something years old, I can't tell my dad to be a dad, please. Even though my dad
You have to be a dad.
My dad's a great father to his younger kids, and that used to hurt me. Like seeing them say,
I agree
seeing
with
them
that.
rely on saying, I'm telling my dad, what?
You didn't have that.
I never had a dad. So, you know what I mean? Like these moments that I allowed to like make me not like
Yeah.
my little
Yeah.
sisters.
Yeah.
Like they did something. You didn't do anything because you have a dad.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything to me. And actually saying this happened for me, it allowed me to build a relationship with my father because we're young enough to change that.
Yeah.
We're young enough to not be stuck in the fact that your mom didn't reach out you know why she didn't reach out? Because honestly, she's old enough to be stuck in a way.
I agree with
She's
you.
old enough to be
Or
stuck in
scared.
a way. Or not,
scared.
and when you get in that
'Cause
moment,
you're older.
you got to think about that. So
You
I
know.
just want y'all to know that honestly,
Yeah.
that you know,
Just reach out.
things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And you know, some things that you've been through as far as trauma probably happened for you to realize why it happened. Go on a journey of why it happened. I can't be mad that I could be angry at the world that my mom passed away, or I could take in and realize the man that I've become. You know, the relationships I've mended with a guy that I never thought I needed. You know what? Because I have my mom. Well, guess what? I don't have her now.
Right.
But I have him.
Right.
And I'm young enough to change the thought process of I'm running down on him like, hey, Dad, look at me. And
Yeah.
he's
Easy
so
reach out.
cool.
Yeah.
I know why he's
right?
my dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you're so cool. But it was,
Same.
I had to give myself that accountability to change that relationship.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys can take that in.
Yeah.
Things that happen to you, they happen
That's
for
good.
you.
Yeah.
And maybe you gotta be the
It happens
You know what
for
I'm
a
saying?
reason.
When I first found out you were coming, I needed to hear you say some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
It's good, man.
I needed to hear that.
It's good.
Yeah.
And I knew because I know you guys post a lot
It's a strong dude.
and all that kind
man.
of stuff. He
Yeah.
is, and I was gonna tell him earlier too. One of the coolest dudes.
Yeah.
So it was cool for Ka to do it.
Yeah.
Damn it, it's good enough for me to
Yeah.
do it. And I think I've
100%.
been thinking about it a
Yeah.
lot. You were brought here today
Uh-huh.
in front of me for a reason. That's what I believe.
I appreciate you,
So,
gentlemen.
yeah.
100%.
I believe.
Yeah.
Bro.
And honestly, Kyle, you're speaking with a lot of power in your voice tonight, and I definitely appreciate that.
Oh no,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
I heard everything you said,
Mhm.
and my question from that as being the man you are now,
Yeah.
what type of what happened in your past
Mhm.
with your dad, your mom, your whole life, and this is a question is going to go for everybody.
Yeah.
What are now your non-negotiables in certain situations?
Mhm.
What I mean by that is like, what is like your hard cutoff
Mhm.
for that big trauma? So it sounds like we got a lot of parent trauma in here, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything that you're like, no, that's a hard cutoff. They're
Yeah.
not going to do that. For instance, like my mom. Like I haven't talked to my mom either.
Mhm.
Will I allow her to just walk into my house right now? I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know because she hasn't seen her grandson
Mm.
in
Stepping stones.
years.
Mm.
Yeah, so
You know
like,
what I mean?
is there
Stepping
anything? And Carmen, to
You
start
reach
with you.
out.
Is there anything
Yeah.
that's like off the table as far as relationships now with trauma in the past?
I could say just one thing for me is acting like it wasn't real. I need everybody in a situation like, hey, one thing I realized about my dad is he almost thinks he's been a dad the whole time.
Honestly,
yeah.
Let's cut the show because I think I agree too.
That's why I
Saying
said
that
watching
one,
it.
right?
It's like you never took any breaks, man. Like
Yeah.
I would glad that
Same.
I seen you one
Same,
day,
dude.
and then the next time I see you, I was asking, why do I get razor bumps under my beard? Like I had a beard.
But where's the milk? Where's the milk?
So
at?
I think it's that
Just get
reality of I don't think I have cutoffs. I think I have for me it's just understanding the reality of each other's trauma. Like, hey, this is why I was like I just didn't make this up, Dad. Like I didn't just say you. I'm not just running around saying I never had a dad. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, my struggle was the fact that I didn't have a dad. I wanted a 2-parent household, and I believe just like everybody deserves a present on Christmas, everybody deserves a 2-parent home.
Yeah.
Because I'm not me without you, nor you.
Yep.
So I didn't do anything for you guys to just say F me. You know what I'm saying? I just
Right.
popped up. So
Yeah.
for me, I think the cutoff is not being real with a realistic thing, to be honest. So
Yeah.
that's
And
my cutoff.
I definitely can understand that, and I can hear that. It's like their problems are not our problem.
Mm,
Like it's not our problem what they've gone through that it's affected us, right? Like
Mhm.
we've made our own choices as we said.
We have.
And before I go to you, Dev, I'll just take the reins here. I guess my non-negotiable is like I'm at the point where if you're not willing to reach out to me, I'm not willing to put my time in to reach out to you. And
And
that's
it goes both ways.
it does go both ways. But I have been in my life similar to Kyle, the one that's always like, let me fix this. Let me reach out. Let me do this. You need a ride somewhere? Okay, you need money? I got you. Like, and so I started to realize more recently within the past couple months, like, I gotta have grace for myself. Like, I have to let myself be okay with the situations around me instead of always being tense, always being ready to go, always being like, I got that, no worries, I got that. So I guess my hard line is more with myself. Now I'm just trying to give myself a little bit more grace in those situations.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That was a great answer.
Devin, I want to go to you.
Grace is great.
I know we're getting a little light on time here, so
I'm just gonna touch on, like Kyle said, his dad came around acting like a dad. My dad admits that he wasn't there, so he did apologize and he'll say like, I'm sorry for not being there for you. I did have one night to where my little brother did post on Facebook how such a great dad he was and all this other stuff, and I'm like, must be nice. Like, I was like, must be nice, and I kind of felt bad after, but I should reach out. I mean, I'm on the same boat as you, is where I don't want to. If you're not reaching out to me, I don't want to reach out to you. And
maybe they're waiting for you.
Being that that's my dad, he's probably saying the same thing.
He's waiting.
Yeah,
he's sitting waiting.
But I feel like every time I reach out to certain family members or whatever, they always want something.
I was gonna say.
So I stopped reaching out, like Billy said, trying to focus on myself, and so I would just say, it's just like, if you're not reaching out to me, I'm not.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, because I think just like how you said, like, someone has to be accountable, but it's like sometimes, like, bro, like, if the accountability has to be anywhere, it should be on your side.
I don't have any more to give. I don't have any more to give. I gotta take care of myself.
We're all talking about our blood. That is like. Is that we have the biggest traumas with, right?
You would think it's that bully from 8th grade that brings the biggest trauma, and it's not. It's your own people that do it to you.
It is. It's never really a situation, but more or less the feelings of multiple situations going into one, right? Yeah. Like it's very hard to just say, Boulder came through. I keep referencing this thing, Boulder. And that's what the biggest trauma is.
It's solid structure.
I should talk about the Boulder. So
Kyle. Over to you here. Do you have any cutoffs?
This is a great question, because I don't know that I know the answer.
No, there's not one. There's upstairs.
I don't know that I know the answer to give you. What I do know is what you guys just said kind of makes me start to think about it a little bit more, because I don't know that I had a cutoff. Mine was, I'm just tired of reaching out. And my other part is that where I'm at now in my life, I know work. I've been saying work sucked and that was affecting me, but I'm so happy where I'm at in my life personally. Like, I don't want things that had happened to me to happen to her, to my daughter. I'm pointing upstairs because our kids are upstairs playing right now, and that's huge, and that means so much to me, and I think it does to you too. We kind of talked about how cool it was. I don't want anybody in her life that don't want to be there. If you don't want to be there, I'm okay. She's great,
right?
Like, and I can't emphasize to the people that I hope somebody relays the message. She is so good. She is so good. And as a father, that is my favorite thing to say. Like, her mom moms her. Her dad dads her. She has grandparents. She has aunts, uncles that are phenomenal. She has a soon-to-be stepmom that's in her life. She has people love her. And I think that, for me, is my non-negotiable. If it's going to affect the happiness that I have, I don't think I want a part of it. And I think I'm okay at this point in my life saying it.
Yeah. That's
a really good thing. I'm finally comfortable in saying it. If you don't want to be there, you don't got to be there.
I'm gonna be honest. You just opened a portal for me, for real. Because I be yearning, like, oh no, I gotta get my kids around. And it's like, you know what? Actually, they're great.
If they're happy,
And I didn't want to cut anybody off, but like, I know how, like, and you can talk about it. I don't want to put words in your mouth. How great of a dad you think you are. How I see it when I see you post your kids and how happy you are. Like, people said to me, you don't post your kid. I don't need to.
Yeah, 100%.
If you go up there and ask her right now if I love her, I bet she'll tell you. I ask her every damn day if she's happy. Every time I got her, I hold her. And it's like, I love that when you can't break that barrier for me, I feel like that's my happy spot.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
So that made me think about it. She's 6.
Yeah.
Wait till she's 14.
I'm
like, Jazz, it's March. Sandals? Like, come on, Dad. Hey, $10. I'm like, all right. Send it to me.
It makes you happy, whatever.
And I don't know that I have the power to say no to that. So we'll talk after.
I can't.
Hopefully she don't watch us, because then she's going to try to get whatever.
Oh, yeah. She's like,
oh, yeah.
Let me get a back.
I don't say no to nothing.
Matt, I'm going to round out here. Any non-negotiables, any cutoffs that you currently have due to that trauma or anything else?
Hard drugs.
Is your cutoff like you will not do that?
Like I won't talk to people. Hard drugs.
Okay. When you say hard drugs, is marijuana in that hard drug
No.
category? Okay.
No.
So you're talking
Marijuana's not in there.
Yeah,
Cocaine's not in there.
Not alcohol, but abuse
Yeah.
of alcohol, maybe.
Crack,
Okay.
heroin.
So
You know,
that's your
I lost
cutoff.
my brother. You know,
Okay, so now we're getting to the story of why that.
he was into drugs.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that
I
makes sense.
I stopped there.
It makes
you know.
sense. Yeah.
He didn't overdose, but I knew he was doing it. You know, and hard drugs
So that's
hits me
and that,
hard.
That's a powerful. That's a
Hits
powerful
me
thing.
hard.
I actually can agree. I had 2 friends pass away from it.
Hits me hard,
So,
Yeah.
like hard,
yeah.
hard.
But that's what you set up for yourself, and that's
Yeah.
okay, right? Like that's okay to have that boundary
Hard.
with anything, with alcohol, with
Yeah.
drugs, with people, with relationships. It's okay to do what you did.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, I wanted to thank these guys tonight. This has been an
Yes.
amazing conversation.
Really.
We are going to put every and all link in the channel. Conversations with a Priest, Divot Dev. I don't know what the
I'm
hell
going to be
you
on
guys
there,
are.
Dev, tomorrow. I don't need my own. I'm just on everybody else's.
LMJ Snow Plowing. Thank you guys so much. I think you guys brought a real lot of insight. I'm going to openly welcome you back because the conversations
100%.
we had tonight, I think are
This
going
was
to.
fun.
I think we're going to have.
And we
fun with
talked
a lot
about
of
our
people.
feelings and some
So,
deeper stuff.
want to thank everybody for watching episode 6 or listening to episode 6. Clips, commentary, all that will be coming along with this. Thank you all. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Cool.